The vast majority of DIYers don't actually know the difference between this, and this. Many people think these things are all the same, but they're not. There's a world of difference between them. Understanding how they're different and which one is superior will make your life drastically easier. So that's what I'm talking about today on the Honest Carpenter Show. Okay, so what I'm talking about here are nut drivers, bit holders, and locking bit holders. They all look pretty similar. Cylindrical attachments for a drill or driver, but how they function is worlds apart. To clarify, nut drivers are simple, slightly shorter bits that chuck straight into a drill or driver. They're used to drive hex-headed fasteners like self-tapping screws, concrete screws, and many others. They'll range in size, but 1/4 inch and 5/8 of an inch are the most common. Bit holders, on the other hand, are often slightly longer with a deeper pocket. They're used to hold insert bits, these short bits that you see virtually everywhere. Of all the tools a DIYer can own, bit holders are amongst the most useful. Fasteners these days come with an ever-expanding variety of slot patterns, and as you glide through a project, you may find yourself swapping bits every few minutes. Bit holders let you change out these insert bits in seconds. You just pop them into the 1/4 inch collet and yank them back out when you need a new one. They save you from having to chuck in the longer power bits over and over again. So bit holders are super helpful, but they're not all built the same. Some are far superior to others, so here's the inside scoop on what to look for. First off, don't use nut drivers to hold insert bits. Yes, you technically can if it's a 1/4 inch nut driver, because that's the universal insert bit size. But the collar is so short that they'll pop right out after each usage. You'll leave the bit in the fastener head, and that's very frustrating. So standard bit holders are a step up. They have a deeper pocket that provides more grip and support for the bit, keeping it more firmly in place. Plus, nearly all of these holders come impact rated these days, so you can use them in both drills and impact drivers. But they're still prone to losing bits at times, especially if you're driving with a lot of force. They do have a little magnet at the bottom to prevent this, but it isn't always enough to retain the bit. So the modern upgrade and solution to this is the locking bit holder. These models come in a couple forms. The first kind have the magnet plus a helpful C-ring inside. It's a little band of wire down in the collar. Notice that insert bits have a little notch in the shank. It's tiny, but when bits go into these bit holders, the C-ring will grip the notch with pressure. This helps prevent bit extraction tremendously. You'll usually drive dozens or hundreds of fasteners without any bits pulling out, which is great. But the problem I've run into is that some of these models can also cause more bit jamming. When the torque is really high, bits will sort of get lodged in the holder, and you'll have to find ways to pry them apart using pliers or vice grips. It's pretty nerve-wracking, and part of that problem is cheap holders with the clamp C-ring. That cheap metal is more malleable, and this can cause wedging. And even at the best of times, it can be kind of hard to yank the bit out of the bit holder because there just isn't much to grab onto. So an even newer generation has helped address this problem, and that's the quick release bit holder. These models have an integrated spring. They're sort of like an impact driver collet. When you push an insert bit into the holder, the spring will load and latch on with the side ring. You can then use the bit holder as you like, and I guarantee you will not get bit pull out. It's incredibly strong. You couldn't pull these bits out if you tried, which really confuses some people who don't realize that they have a quick release. The bit feels like it's just welded in. But on my Dewalt, to actually release it, you just pull the bottom sleeve. The inner ring retracts, the bit pops loose, and you can just yank it out. It's great. A lot of people feel that this quick release style is just the ultimate bit holder. They keep bits secure all day, help prevent jamming, and they also ease bit release by freeing the C-ring without pressure. It's a really brilliant design. And for my money, I much prefer these narrower, streamlined ones rather than these bulkier ones. Yes, the ones with the head release collet are easier to grab, but that bulky knurling can also sometimes get in your way when you're toenailing or going into a tight spot. It'll fight you for space. But the streamlined ones allow you to hold tighter angles and fit into smaller spots, which is much more functional over time. This quick release Dewalt is really slick and also accepts longer 1-inch power bits, which is why they call this a 3-in-1. But as an extra tip, I always avoid putting impact power bits into any kind of bit holder as they don't quite have the right shape profile and they'll get badly jammed. Sometimes you'll never get them back out. I've actually talked a lot more about bits and cool bit holders in other videos. I'm grouping all those videos together and adding some extra info in my newsletter this week, so be sure to join the mailing list to get that. Just jump over to thehonestcarpenter.com, sign up here in the header, or down here in this sign up box, and you'll get free exclusive videos delivered to your inbox. Plus, you'll also get access to great guides on our website. I'll link plenty of tools and bits below, and let me know what you think of these bit holders down in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll consider subscribing. I'm Ethan James with thehonestcarpenter.com. I'll see you next time.